United States continues on its path of energy consumption, how long will fossil fuels power the energy needs that we have? Today I'm going to be speaking about the relevance of solar power and the necessity that we have in our society today. So, you can go ahead. So the use of solar collection is the most efficient form of alternative energy production today, but how does it work exactly? There's a lot of arguments as far as which alternative form of energy is the cleanest or is the best, but it all boils down to that the solar is the best collection that we have to date. So for credibility, I'm an architecture major, and for the past 2 semesters I've been working with finding the pros and the cons of different forms of alternative energy, and the last 2 semesters I've used solar collection, specifically solar panels on our buildings to produce electricity and to lower the cost of operation, and then to the point where you could actually make money by having enough solar collection on your building. So this is something that I'm passionate about and I've done a lot of studying with. So the importance of the topic, as we're the next generation of leaders in all facets of life, if we do not continue to find new ways to produce energy or understand the basic forms that we have today, if we continue on this path, our environment will suffer, just jobs in general will suffer, and then life as we know it might not be the same or won't be as good as what we've had. So it's our duty as the next generation to take the torch and keep running. So the main points, I'm going to talk about why solar power is necessary, how it actually works, and what we can do to make better use of it. So if you look at this small table here, ignore the units, we won't get into that much, but if you look at what coal uses, natural gas, petroleum, nuclear power, compared to what solar power produces, is significantly larger, which all of those are fossil fuels and they have a negative impact on our environment. But what I found interesting about this, if you look at the years 2012, 13, 14, we've almost doubled each year in solar power use. So that's looking up for our generation. So why is it necessary? As I said, it reduces the amount of fossil fuels used, which helps the environment overall. Nowadays, the government gives incentives, so if you were to purchase solar panels or solar collection, they will give you some benefits. The environment thanks you a lot, and the sun's shining, might as well take advantage of it. So here's a little breakdown before we get into don't want to get you into the nitty-gritty and bore you to death, but here's a little diagram basically that shows sun shines onto these photovoltaic cells, which convert the energy from the sun into direct current. Then that would take you into an inverter, which changes it from direct current to alternating current, which is what we use to power our electric. And then it runs to the meter, which can be sold back to the grid or the electric company. Or you can actually, there's other alternatives. You can be connected to the grid, as I said, or you can be what's considered off the grid, where you produce your own power, and you don't need any alternative sources from like the government. Or there's a hybrid where you can do a little bit of each. So if something would happen to the main power source, you would still be able to produce your own power. So what can we do? This table here shows the cost of what solar panels have been for the last 10 years. And if you see in 2004, it started out about $8.50 per watt per panel. And then here in the third quarter of 2014, they're down to under $3 per watt per panel. So if we continue on this trend, the price is going to drop and the efficiency is getting better. So what we can do is just continue to purchase them, which will ultimately drop the price even lower. And then something that's neat with innovation is the unique solar collectors that we have today. So using solar ivy and these new transparent panels, just some unique and innovative ways to still collect solar energy, but have fun with it and pertain to the aesthetics of our buildings. So to recap, why solar power is necessary, a little bit of how it worked, and what we can do to make better use of it. So as time progresses in the United States, we need to incorporate new forms of power to lessen our dependence on fossil fuels. So the use of solar power is a good first step, and hopefully we can take some of these forms and unique ways to create our own new ways to make better efficient use of our solar power. Thank you.